You guys have just released Peace in Our Time. It's a great album. I'm really enjoying it. How's that going, and how's the tour going?
Well, touring for us is not what it used to be. We basically just play weekends here and there. So we've done, I guess, what you call record release shows in Southern California, and we just played San Francisco and our hometown of Santa Cruz over this past weekend. So we've played 5 quote-unquote record release shows so far. So it's not really a full tour, but we will be trying to hit every place in the next year as much as we can.
How was that Santa Cruz show? That would have been pretty good, playing at home. I know I've always enjoyed playing at home.
Yeah, no, hometown shows are awesome. It's always great. Santa Cruz has supported us through the years, and it's always great to play in front of our friends and family too.
Now, it's been a bit of time, a bit of a hiatus, I believe, from 2007. How does it feel to have the new album out? How's the transition between previous releases, and how's everyone feeling in the band?
Well, I think that the 5 years off was really good for us to gain some perspective on our band and to have it be a little bit more right-sized and in the right relationship with all the rest of the crazy stuff we have going on in our lives. And I think we're just able to enjoy this a lot more now. We don't really have a lot of the pressures that we used to put on ourselves. And so we're able to just do it because we love it. And we're able to enjoy the fact that we have an opportunity to travel a little bit and play music. And it's not something that a lot of people get to do. And I think that having that time away has really put it into focus for us, how fortunate we really are.
Good Riddance has a signature sound. Which direction do you think you'll be taking in music? Do you think it'll sort of stay true, or is it going to change a little bit over the next recording?
Well, we haven't even started thinking about the next recording yet, but I definitely know what you mean. I think that this new album, Peace in Our Time, I think it showed us and will show anybody who listens to it, who's followed the band, that we're really not interested in trying to reinvent the wheel. We feel like we sort of adopted a sound that we felt was very California, when we started, and we borrowed, a lot from bands like Bad Religion and Pennywise and PSOL and Adolescence, bands that we grew up listening to. And I feel like that's really representative in our sound, but I also feel like we do take it to a little bit of a different place. And I think that Peace in Our Time is, I think it's a strong record, and we're all really proud of it. I think that it's more of the same. It's what a fan should expect from a Good Riddance album. A lot of fast songs, some melody, some relevant lyrics that hopefully people can relate to and be inspired by. And that's sort of the same thing we've always tried to do.
My favourite track personally is the opening track, Desputatio. Is that how you say it?
Desputatio.
Desputatio. I've been saying it wrong. Damn.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
A killer song, man. Killer opener. What was the writing process behind that track?
A lot of our songs are, like the majority of the songs are songs that I wrote on guitar. And then, the song is all finished on guitar. And the lyrics are done, and then I show it to the band. And everybody sort of fills in. The other songs on our album generally are songs that Luke, our guitar player, writes, and then I put lyrics to. And Desputatio is one of those. So Luke came in with this really awesome riff, and he basically had the song more or less done when he presented it at practice. And then I just had the recording of it and was just in my car singing along and trying different types of melodies. And once I have a good melody, or what I think is a good melody, then I start painting in the lyrics. So that's how those songs come together. And that's one of those where Luke wrote the music and I wrote the lyrics to it.
Can I ask, what is your process behind writing lyrics? Do you draw on personal inspiration or find a muse somewhere, or what's the process behind that?
It's a little bit of both. It depends on, a lot of times, the initial first impression that I get. If I'm hearing it's going to strike me a certain way, like the very first instant, the first impression that's going to usually steer me one way or another. You know, is it angry? Is it poignant? Is it reflective? Is it an anthemic? You know, there's lots of different directions that a person could go conceptually or lyrically. Those directions, and the person just kind of go from there. And if I'm lucky, I can get a good chorus first. And if you get your chorus written, then that's half the work right there. Because it repeats a couple of times, and also the chorus will have to, usually for me, the kind of the tentpole theme of the song will be reflective of the chorus, and then you can sort of branch out from there on the verses, things that sort of point to or reference the point that you're trying to make in the chorus.
Well, that leads me into my next question. Your vocal technique and singing style has been inspirational for a lot of other bands in the melodic hardcore genre. And I'd like to ask, what is your vocal setup, and is there any warm-up techniques? Is there anything special that you do, or is it just straight to the point?
I do my best to sing with some melody. I do my best to try to sing a little bit. Not as I'm trying to say, like, I don't want to sing the expected melody, but a slight variant of it. I always want to kind of mix things up and throw a curve here and there. I definitely have more confidence in my singing than I used to when we started, and I'm not as afraid to experiment and try different things now. So that always helps, like taking several stabs at it with different approaches and seeing what feels right. Whereas when I was first starting to sing, I really didn't know what I was doing, and I was just trying to make it through the song. For warm-ups, I mean, ideally before a show, I'll start warming my voice up about halfway through the band, about halfway through their set. I learned some vocal warm-up techniques from Chad Price, who sings in All and Drag the River. I know this served me really well. He was one of the people that taught me some really good techniques. But other than that, I don't really do much. I mean, I don't smoke or drink alcohol or take drugs, so I think that helps too.
I've noticed over the last few years you've done a few acoustic shows as well, and also been a part of the Fat Records Tony Sly tribute. Rest in peace, Tony Sly, who's absolute legend, has definitely influenced me in my playing. And you covered Via Munich, such a great song. So how was that anyway? Did you know him, and what were your thoughts of Tony Sly?
I've known Tony since 1993, I think. His band was kind of took notice of our band because they're from San Jose, which is which is really close to Santa Cruz. And I think he sort of saw something in us, and he would, whenever they would have shows locally, or sometimes we get to do some shows in Southern California, he would pull some strings to get us to open for him. And then when Fat Records came about, and they were one of the first bands on Fat Records, I think he talked us up quite a bit and was instrumental in helping us get out and expose, because we got to open for them, and they were drawing pretty good crowds. It was really cool for us to get a chance to play in front of more people than we probably would have if we were on our own. And then when their album Leche Con Carne came out, and our first album had just come out, and they took us to Europe for our first time when we stood. And, Tony and I, we shared hotel room a lot of time on that tour, and got to be pretty good friends. And he just taught me a lot about, that was our first album, and we had no concept of anything, and he was really helpful as far as my development as a songwriter. He basically sat me down and he said, you're the songwriter for this band, and this is what that means, and this is what you have to do to make it work. And I'd never thought of it that way before, and it was really a big part of my development, as a singer and as a songwriter. And then we became friends, and we would talk periodically throughout, when we went on tour, and we'd go to San Jose Sharks hockey games together here and there. And we just became friends, and then he was playing his solo shows. And I remember we were talking one time, and I said, "Man, this was when Good Riddance was not playing." And I said, "Man, I got these songs, and I don't know what to do. It kind of sucks." He goes, "Why don't you just play them?" And it never occurred to me to do that. And so he took me out on some of his solo shows, and we did acoustic shows together. So he's been really just a big influence on me as a songwriter. Somebody whose songs and his melodies I always admired. And he was also a friend of mine. And I feel like music has suffered a pretty significant loss with him not being around.
Changing the direction once again, so this Australian tour is the first headline for Good Riddance in quite some time. You've got Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth. It sounds like you guys are gonna be having a great time. Is there any specific place in Australia that you're keen to get back to more than anywhere else?
Melbourne's my favorite city in Australia. Although the last time we went on Hits and Pits, we had a blast in Brisbane as well. And no, I'm just happy to, like I said, every chance that we get to travel someplace and people actually pay money to come and see us play, and people take care of us and take the time out to talk to us. We're very, very cognizant of how fortunate we are with each of these opportunities now. So it's really special. We've always had an amazing time in Australia. Fans are great. People take care of us. It's really a treat to get to go, and it's a beautiful country. And we're also pretty happy that we're getting to go back to New Zealand this time as well, because it's been a while since we've been down there. But I'm looking forward to getting back to every place. We had never been. We'd been to Australia maybe 3 times. We'd never played Perth until Hits and Pits, and we had a great show in Fremantle and really enjoyed the town. And so it's going to be kind of cool to get back there. But like I said, the last time we played Hits and Pits, we had an amazing time in Brisbane. The show was great, but we we actually had a couple of days to see the city more than we had before, and that was great. But I love Melbourne. That's my favorite.
I've got a couple of other friends who would like to ask a question. One of my mates from Melbourne, Sean Scanlan, he'll be at your show. Another friend of mine, Lee Freud Hill, and another mate, Corey Baker, all want to know about Only Crime, how the writing process differs from Good Riddance, and also what it's like to play with Bill Stevenson in your band.
So the writing process for Only Crime is quite different. The music is, based on the sort of the parameters we set when we started the band about where we were going to draw an influence from and what we kind of wanted to sound like. It's really about me writing songs on guitar, because my songs are usually pretty simple and straightforward and melodic structures, and the music for Only Crime draws a lot more influence from jazz as far as being improvisational and using like really unorthodox chords and chord structures. So it's kind of over my pay grade as far as a guitar player. So generally, the guitar players, particularly Matt on this last album, would have either complete song ideas or a couple of riffs that they feel like went really well into each other, and the band would just play and expand. Like, you could play. We'd say, okay, everyone learns this riff. We'd play it 4 times, and then we just keep playing and see where everybody goes. It was really unique as far as anything I've ever been part of before. And I'd be sitting in a corner with my notebook, just scribbling whatever gibberish came into my head based on what the music they were playing made me feel. The lyrics for Only Crime, by design, are definitely not political, not social. They're more interpretational and more like poetry than an actual song about anything. But they hopefully can be, depending on the mood of the listener and what's going on for them that day, they can be taken in a bunch of different ways. So my job is basically to try to come up with something that works rhythmically with what the band is playing and has just enough melody to kind of make a little hook or two in the song without being overtly pop. And so that's kind of what the writing process has been. Most of the bulk of Only Crime's last record, Pursuance, the music was brought in by Matt. Some of it was brought in by Aaron, the guitar player, and then some of the riffs were brought in by Bill. They were riffs that he'd written on guitar and had hanging around on cassette tapes from the time he was in Black Flag that had never seen the light of day. So the combination of all those elements. And then, I guess to answer your second question, or the question of those guys, playing in a band with Bill is surreal on a lot of levels. Just like everybody else, I'm a fan. And so to kind of like just take a step back and realize what's happening while we're playing or practicing, and well, he's asking me what I think he should play on a certain part. It's really strange. But Bill is, he's a confident player, as he should be based on his lineage and what he's done. But he's also a team player, and he's very humble, and he's very in tune with what each other member of his band is bringing to the table. And so and this is especially true of everybody in Only Crime, is that everybody is interested to hear what everybody else thinks. Like, nobody is kind of running the show. And Bill is just 1/5 of that. And so he recognizes what the unique positive that each member brings, and he strives to bring that out. And he helps with lyrics a lot too, which is great, because he helps me out when he produces Good Riddance stuff. But in Only Crime, it's different because it's his band, so he takes a lot more ownership of lyrical ideas, and we work really well together with that. But it is a trip, man. I won't lie. Sometimes you turn around during a show or something. It's like, wait a minute, like that guy was in Black Flag. I just have those little moments sometimes that are strange. But I've known Bill so long, and it's just most of the time it's just like, oh, that's Bill.